Hello, 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 everybody. This is April Showers of the April Showers Network. McLino, 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 McLino. Say hi to the YouTube audience. Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. I am Darlene April of the April Showers Network. Let me do a sound check. And let me do a mic check. Can everyone hear me? Let me get on my other device. Again, I am just a messenger delivering a message. My opinion, anybody that doesn't agree with me, that's fine. I'm not mad at you. I don't hate anybody. I want to make this clear. They're all the same bird, Democrat or Republican. Neither party cares about me, little old poor me. Me, little old poor or poor Americans. This country was built on the lie. The lies still continue. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Okay. First thing I want to talk about is Donald J. Trump, the president elect of the United States of America. His One Big Beautiful Bill Act of 2025 is awful. It's one big ball of shit act, is what it is. Okay? Especially when it comes to the food stamps, SNAP benefits. American people are barely making it with inflation. We'll probably now starve to death. Donald Trump's One Big Beautiful Bill Act with these food stamps, with the high cost of inflation, the high cost of groceries. People are barely making it now. People can barely keep a roof over their head. And now he is allegedly getting ready to starve people to death. Okay? I said it. Now, they don't really care about us. They don't really care about us. Okay? See, while all of these people, all of these politicians, all of them that's been put in place to keep an agenda, all of these people that have allegedly, been taking money under the table to get bills passed, all kind of stuff, people that have been put in place to keep people voting for a certain party, don't none of these people care about us. Because if they would take some of their millions of dollars that they have received from allegedly taking payoffs and kickbacks, and they would invest that money into the community, maybe go feed about 20 or 30 families. But no, it's all about the money. It's all about the money, my opinion, and my story, and how I feel. And that's what I'm sticking to. Now, these are just some of the highlights of this one big beautiful bill, which is one big beautiful crock of shit bill, okay? Especially when it comes to the SNAP benefits. So, what is happening now? They are up in the age. People, You have to in order to get food stamps, they've changed up the age from 54 to 64. I'm 63. I have all kind of health issues. So I'm pretty sure I probably could get a waiver. But the average person that's 54 to 64, they are really starting to deal with health issues, probably the cost of living. And so you want to make people not be able to get food stamps up until the age of 64 unless they can work. Shame on you. Shame on all of you sorry, dirty folks. Okay? And then these cuts are going to affect the homeless. Because we do have a homeless population in the United States of America. A homeless population where people depend on these SNAP benefits to be able to eat. Okay? So you might as well just get ready to unalive American people that are homeless, veterans, foster care, okay? Because now you're going to starve people to death. Now, veterans will be affected by this. Now, say for instance, foster care parents, they have children. And when you are in foster care, like a foster mom that is taking care of a child that's in her house, and once they hit 18, they have aged out, but that foster care parent, along with other parents that have children that are living with them that have a disability, just because they have turned 18, they will be kicked off of food stamps. So if you are a parent and you have a child with a disability, or your foster care parent, they are kicking the child off. So now the foster care parents or the parents with the child with disability will no longer receive food stamps. Shame on you, President-elect Donald Trump, with your one big beautiful bill and this crock of shit with these SNAP benefits. Then you can only get $75. What does $75 do in groceries now? Nothing. Okay? Nothing. 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 They don't really care about us. They don't really care about us. They do not care about middle class people who they have put in the poor people status, the poor people, the disabled, the veterans, nor the homeless. The only people that the United States of America is concerned about, and that is the rich getting richer and lining their pockets. They don't really care about us, but we're the people that are working and paying our taxes. And there will be no benefits from your tax dollars, okay? Your tax dollars. Poor veterans that have fought for this country They're already homeless. Poor people that decide to keep foster care kids because it's hard out there. It's hard for everybody. So now if a foster care parent decides, I'm going to let little Jimmy or little Susie stay with me because it's really hard. The cost of living, everybody's not college material. If you get a minimum wage job, that doesn't even cover the cost of an apartment. So I'm going to let them live with me. But I know it's hard out there. But, with the new SNAP benefit, that foster care parent would not be able to receive food stamps for that person, that child who has turned into an adult, that they have decided to let live with them because, it's hard out here, So now they will have an extra mouth to feed with no help. Shame on you. Shame on all of y'all with y'all one big beautiful bill, which is the one big crock of shit bill. Okay, so without further ado, let's see. Let me show you some videos on these changes. What you can do, you need to find out in your state the changes that are gonna be made. Hold on. And sorry I was a little late with this show. One of my neighbors who was battling cancer, they found him unalive in his apartment, and so hasn't been a great morning. They don't really care about us. And again, like I say, we're not going to like everything.
Food aid in the United States is about to be slashed at a time when experts say it's needed more than ever. The Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, or SNAP, is facing the largest funding cut in the program's history. Here are 4 things to know about changes coming to the program and what it can mean for those reliant on the benefits. 1. President Donald Trump's Big Beautiful policy and spending legislation will cut $186 billion in federal funding from the program over the next decade, according to projections from the Congressional Budget Office.
We're definitely witnessing a major shift in SNAP, unlike anything we've seen since the program was created.
Elaine Waxman is a senior fellow at the Urban Institute, focusing on food insecurity and federal nutrition programs.
It will change the structure in significant ways for the first time.
And to fill the gap for the roughly 22 million families on SNAP, states will have to help pay for the benefits their residents receive. Depending on the scenario, that could be as much as 15% of the benefits costs. Waxman worries the worst case, but possible scenario is states will have to pull out of SNAP because they can't make up the funding gap.
The federal government has clearly stated it will not pay for a state shortfall if they're not able to make that match. Then it's possible that states would have to withdraw from the program altogether.
2, SNAP already had some work requirements, but the Big Beautiful Bill expands them to include people aged 55 to 64, parents of minors 14 and older, and veterans. Now, SNAP recipients will be required to work 80 hours per month in order to get the benefits. The idea is increased work requirements lead to...
Now, did y'all see that? Did y'all see that? The age has been raised to 64. They want the homeless and veterans and all these people to go to work. And where in the hell are the jobs at? Where are the jobs for veterans? Where are the jobs with people with disabilities? You dirty for this. All of y'all dirty for this. This one big beautiful bill is one big crock of shit.
Increased workforce participation, but
Research tells us that unfortunately they don't really work. And that may sound counterintuitive to people, but what we know is that they don't increase work effort. They don't result in higher incomes. And what they do result in is a lot of people leaving the program and not being better off.
3. The Congressional Budget Office estimates the new work requirements will lead to an estimated 3 million fewer people participating in SNAP. And this is a huge gap that charitably operated food banks won't be able to cover. According to Feeding America, a national food bank network, for every meal given by a food bank, SNAP provides 9.
If you look at food pantry visits in Minnesota, since 2019, they have tripled.
Sophia Linares-Coy is the executive director of the Food Group, a food equity nonprofit in Minnesota.
As grocery prices have gone up, the charitable food system has expanded dramatically. And so the idea that then it can expand again to compensate for these federal cuts, it's just simply not realistic.
And with states now on the hook to find ways to pay for SNAP for the residents, Linares-Coy worries disparities across the country will worsen.
As it starts being customized state to state, I think what's very concerning is, someone in Minnesota may be able to have enough benefits to feed their family, and someone, next door in Iowa might not. And what does that mean? And does that mean people will need to make really difficult choices even about where they live in order to feed their families?
4. Another major change will be eligibility for aid. Undocumented migrants have never been eligible to access SNAP benefits, and that has not changed. However, the list of immigrants and others who can participate has been cut significantly. Refugees, asylum seekers, victims of human trafficking, and domestic violence survivors under the Violence Against Women Act can no longer access SNAP benefits. This, Linares-Coy says, will affect local communities on a personal and economic level.
Culturally connected meats, halal meat, culturally connected.
Wait a minute. Now, what in the plum hell do we have going on right now? We have a president who is a felon is now trying to say people with domestic violence can't receive food stamps. You can't make this ish up. You cannot make this stuff up. They don't really care about us. They don't really care about us.
Produce, that can be really expensive and not available in your average food shelf situation. And ethnic grocery stores in rural communities can see some of the highest SNAP redemption rates of a lot of grocery stores. So there's also going to be this economic impact. And in some rural groceries, there's just not margin to handle a lack of sales.
Not to mention the fear of going out to receive those benefits.
In the past, we've encouraged, apply for all the programs you're eligible for. Some of them don't even feel safe coming out of their house to go to a charitable food distribution anymore. So I think we're just seeing a real chilling effect of everyone feeling like it's not safe to ask for help. And what that ultimately means, right, is that there are going to be kids who go hungry.
For PBS News, I'm Laura Santano.
You can't make this up. You can't make this up. This one big beautiful bill is one big crock of shit is what it is. Okay? Is what it is. Now these SNAP benefits. Meat, April showers. Me, I go to the food pantries to offset the cost of groceries. They don't really care about us. They don't really care about us. Trump really don't care about us. Trump and his administration and this one big beautiful bill, which is one big crock of shit, with inflation, with the high cost of groceries, is getting ready to starve people. Starve people. They want to tell you what you can eat, what you can buy. You can't make this stuff up. Now, if you live in Illinois, which I live in the state of Illinois, where every governor we've had has gone to prison. Okay. So let me see. What's getting ready to happen in Illinois? Let's see. Trump SNAP benefits 2025. So let's see what this one big crock of shit bill is getting ready to do. See, Google this. Key changes affecting Illinois SNAP recipients. See, they don't care. You know, you're homeless, not, you know, about to starve people to death. People are choosing between, do I keep a roof over my head? Do I afford to eat? It ain't, you know, I might make enough money to pay for my rent, but now I can't get any extra groceries. You know, I need SNAP benefits. And believe it or not, there's a lot of people that work that receive SNAP benefits to make ends meet. Okay? So, you what you do is look up your state. Now, they done made it the age 64, but you know, there are exemptions. They are gonna give exemptions, everybody. They're gonna give exemptions for veterans, homeless individuals, and young adults who have aged out of foster care. So they say. You know, so they say. Some states are looking at removing everything. So just look up in your state. Now, the state of Illinois is having exemptions for veterans, homeless individuals, and young adults who have aged out of foster care. You can get a waiver. You can get a waiver. Again, they're looking at passing $75. That will be the minimum. That will be the minimum. Where they do this at? First, inflation, housing is high. Now people like me that depend on the food banks, and let me make this clear, I only get $23 a month in SNAP. due to my income. They don't care that housing has went up, inflation has went up, and I'm on a once a month income. I only get $23 a month. I did not see a food stamp increase when groceries went up. So that means I started going to food pantries to offset that cost. Now the food pantries will be affected with this one big crock of shit bill. Okay? They call it one big beautiful bill. I call it one big crock of shit. They don't really care about us. They don't really care about us. It's a shame you get old. It's a shame you're working, you know, and it's hard out there for the average American citizen in this United States of America, where people are going to work every day. Everybody is not lazy that receive food stamps, and everybody ain't black that receive food stamps. So get that welfare queen myth out of your mind. It's a lot of people receiving food stamps to offset the high income, and it's just hard making it. It's hard. You have working people that are working a job, say for instance, a minimum wage job. They are going to work every day. Rent is high. They go apply for food stamps, and they can only get a little bit of food stamps. Just enough. How can a person go to work on an empty stomach? One big beautiful bill will starve American people. Hello to everybody that's in the chat. Let me get on my other device. I can't speak to people individually. I don't know what any comments are, but all comments are welcome. I'm not going to argue with anybody over my opinion. You can type whatever you want to type. And like I said, everybody that receive food stamps are not welfare queens. They are not black. You have people from all walks of life that get food stamps for additional help. Additional help. One big crock of shit bill with SNAP benefits will starve people to death. Okay? To death. Okay? Wait a minute. Now I'm on another device. Wait a minute. Now I'm on another device. Wait a minute. Now I'm on another device. Okay. Let me see. Let me turn the volume down. I want to speak to everybody in the chat. Oh yeah, please hit the like button. Donald Trump, President of the United States of America, and this one big beautiful bill is one big crock of shit. If you are not a wealthy person, if you're not making 6 figures or more, They don't care about you. Hello, Shatika, Kalei, Josh, Pan. Again, in God I trust. Keep your higher power first. 'Cause I'm not going to starve for anybody. But this is supposed to be America, the land of the free and the home of the brave. No. America is for the wealthy. America is for lining your pockets. America is for taking cutbacks. America is for committing crimes and then covering them up. America is where local felons can't find jobs because they have a felony conviction, but we have a president who is a convicted felon. This is America. And Lord knows, President Trump, you should never be trying to cut anything from anybody that has a felony conviction because you got a felon conviction yourself. Not that it matters because, you know, but it matters to the regular person when they go fill out a job application and they find out they have a felony conviction. That'll be another subject at another time. So your one big beautiful bill, President-elect Donald J. Trump, or any other things that you pass, you make sure you don't be saying anybody that's convicted of a felony cannot receive anything because you are a felon yourself. SNAP is the Supplemental Nutritional Assistance Program. It has been around for years, you know, and the myth was, you know, it was all black women with a bunch of kids, and that's a lie. That is a lie. People go get food stamps to help offset the cost of groceries. And with high inflation cost, every American right now, they should be giving them a stipend of at least $200 to $300 the way grocery prices have skyrocketed. But no, what do you people want to do that's sitting up there in the White House, on Congress, all of you people? What do y'all want to do? You trying to starve American people. You want to starve them. How they gonna be able to go to work and they can't eat on an empty stomach? Butch, whatever a person chooses to buy with the food stamps that they receive is their own business. That's not my business. for somebody that drinks pop and eat candy. I don't know what you eat or what you drink, but maybe you need to go take you a shot and get up out of this show and go talk to somebody that cares about what you think. And if somebody wants to buy candy for a treat for their kids, maybe once a week, that's none of our business. Or if they choose to buy them some pop. Ain't nothing good in none of this food. The fertilizer ain't good, so don't tell me nothing. None of this food. We don't know where it's coming from, how they processing it. So I don't want to hear, singling out pop and candy. Again, a lot of people that receive food stamps, it is to help supplement their food costs. It is a lot of working people. So, allegedly, they are going to give waivers for the veterans, for the homeless, for people that have aged out of foster care, and children with disabilities. Now, this is what they're saying, but you never know. The United States of America was built on a lie. So I don't believe nothing none of them say. It's a wait and see game for me. But I do know this one big crock of shit bill that has been passed with these SNAP benefits will be affecting little old me. I only get $23 a month. My Social Security check is not getting ready to go up. I won't get an increase for 2026. I need like about a 10% increase in my Social Security where I worked for 40 years to keep up with the cost of inflation. So I only receive $23 a month in food stamps. Hell, they might cut that. And then the pantries. I go to pantries. These benefits will be affecting people that go to the food pantries. Again, this one big beautiful bill with the SNAP benefits, America, the United States of America, is trying to starve people to death. They don't care if you eat. They don't care. Well, matter of fact, they don't even care if you have a house. They don't care if you're homeless. Because if they cared, we wouldn't see the big homeless problem. If they cared, minimum wage would be increased to keep up with inflation. I worked for 40 years and I have paid taxes. and whatever the federal government has available out there for me as a taxpayer, I should receive it. Yes, I'm 9mm hot. Migrants were able to come over here to this country and live free and get free housing and food. I ain't never been able to live nowhere for free, get free food and housing. This one big, beautiful crock of shit bill. If you're low income, they don't care about you in America. The middle class is the new working poor. Okay?
President Trump says he's thinking of recommending a Republican National Convention ahead of next year's midterm elections. In a post on social media, he says it's never been done before and Republicans are poised to win big. Meanwhile, the Democratic National Committee confirms to ABC News it's considering its own convention ahead of the midterms. ABC's political director Avery Harper's here with more on that. Avery, Trump's comments came after reports that some senior Democrats were considering a convention. What do you make of the timing here? And what would these conventions
You
look
can't
like?
make this stuff up.
It's a little tit for tat. We
With
do
this-
know that Democrats are considering among
with
many things,
President Trump. You know, he doing everything, things that's never been done. We got a lot of stuff going on. A lot of stuff. But I tell you this. They don't really care about us. Please hit the like, share, and subscribe button. Let me educate some of you folks that you know that had that silver spoon in your mouth. Some of y'all that can't relate. Everybody's not rich. People fall on hard times.
What are SNAP benefits and how will they change? This article is by Julia Moskin and read by an automated voice. The domestic policy package the House narrowly passed on Thursday includes cuts to SNAP, the federally funded Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, once known as food stamps. Republicans say the program is badly managed and discourages people from working. Opponents of the bill say the proposed cuts will leave millions of adults and children hungry and burden states with new costs. Here's what we know about SNAP and what will change. What are SNAP benefits? The Federal Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program. The federal government helps people buy food if they cannot afford it. About 42 million Americans living in 22 million households use SNAP. Who qualifies? Almost anyone whose income is at or below the poverty line set by the federal government in a given year. The amount is determined by the cost of necessities like food, clothes, and housing, following the Consumer Price Index. In 2025, that number is $15,060 or less for one person, or $30,000 for a household of 4. Many people and households can be eligible under certain other circumstances, if they include children, are disabled, or are age 60 or older. How much do people get to spend? The amount is adjusted each year, according to federal guidelines. In 2025, the maximum monthly benefit for one person is $292. For a household of 4, it's $975. The amount also depends on which state recipients live in, and on factors like whether anyone in the household has a steady income or is a dependent. How do people use SNAP? The system is fully electronic onto a card, which is used like a debit or credit card. What can SNAP be used for? Almost any food sold at a grocery store, including soda, chips, candy, and snacks. Some states have enacted rules that prevent SNAP money from being spent on soda and candy. It can't be used, however, for hot or cooked food, or for anything other than food. Where can SNAP be used? At most grocery stores, big box stores, and many convenience stores, dollar stores, farmers markets, and pharmacies that sell food, like Walgreens and CVS. SNAP cards can also be used to order from online markets, like Walmart and Amazon. What will change? The legislation will make it more difficult for people to qualify for benefits and reduce those benefits for those who are eligible. For example, under the current rules, most people, except parents with dependents, must remain in the workforce until age 54 in order to qualify. The bill raises the working age to 64 and excludes only parents with children younger than 14. The federal government has always paid for the benefits, while the states assume the cost of managing the program. Are eligible if they meet the income requirements. Green card holders and permanent residents must wait 5 years to receive benefits. How many people will be affected? Millions will lose their benefits altogether, and many more will receive less than they do now. The bill will require the biggest cut to SNAP since the food stamp program began in 1939, during the Great Depression. Follow New York Times Cooking on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, and Pinterest. Get regular updates from New York Times Cooking with recipe suggestions, cooking tips, and shopping advice.
So, the federal government has come up with some guidelines. And let me tell you something. The United States of America, y'all dirty. The Republican Party and anybody that passed this, y'all dirty. Y'all dirty and low down. You want to tell working American people that they should starve to death. You come up with some poverty guidelines. Like I say, I only get $23 a month because y'all sorry crock of shit, one big beautiful bill, and all of these guidelines that the government has come up with only keeps the poor. You don't get ahead. You're not going to make it. They don't care if you get medicine. They don't care if you eat. All they want is your tax dollars. Okay? So, we're going to continue on talking about this no good, one big beautiful bill.
Republicans target federal anti-hunger program as they prepare Trump tax package. This article is by Tony Rahm and read by an automated voice. House Republicans on Monday proposed a series of sharp restrictions on the federal anti-hunger program known as food stamps, seeking to limit its funding and benefits as part of a sprawling package to advance President Trump's tax cuts. The proposal, included in a draft measure to be considered by the House Agriculture Committee this week, would require states to supply some of the funding for food stamps.
Okay, wait a minute, hold on. I think I played that one. Hold on. No, I was you see what the title reads. Republican target federal anti-hunger program as they prepare Trump tax packages. So the Republicans are targeting hungry people? What does that tell me? The Republicans really don't care about me, us, you, unless you're rich. Okay? Again, this is April Showers. This is my opinion, my viewpoints. You know, it's some things that I like about presidents, and it's some things I don't like. And I'm going to call them out on everything I feel like it when I want to. I never thought I would be doing this, but I got so sick of hearing this. One big beautiful bill is one big crock of shit. Okay? You got all of these people in New York that could lose their benefit. Can the Republicans argue the cuts are needed to tackle waste and fraud? Well, y'all waste money and y'all a lot of fraud. Why don't you stop taking your kickbacks, your under the table money? You heard me? Why don't you donate some of your kickbacks, some of your under the table money, and why don't you take a salary cut? We the American people, I wish we can cut all of their salaries. Lay them off. Get rid of them. Get rid of all of them. Because they all one bird flapping their wings. They don't really care about us. Okay? There's going to be fraud in anything that you do. Hell, they've been fraud the way they've been lying to us. But you know, only the American people, from the White House to your local politicians, all of them have tackled waste and they are frauds themselves. Yeah, that's my story. That's my opinion. Because I feel like all politicians, and there might be a few, let me rephrase that so don't nobody get their panties or their briefs in the bunch. Most politicians are crooks. They taking money under the table. They working for big corporations, passing bills, and they don't really care about the regular people in the United States of America. So we're going to listen to this article. This is nice right here.
Snap wasn't a handout, the Week 8 winner of our summer reading contest. This article is by the Learning Network and read by an automated voice. For 16 years now, our summer reading contest has been inviting teenagers around the world to tell us about the recent Times pieces that have gotten their attention and explain why. Students can submit either written comments or 90-second video responses. This week, the 8th of our 10-week challenge, we received 212 submissions and chose as our winning essay a piece by Viviana Thumb, a student from Bradenton FLA. Scroll down to read her work and to find a list of runners-up and honorable mentions. As you go, check out the variety of other topics that caught the eyes of these teens, including pieces on a deadly earthquake in Tibet, a figure skating comeback, Laufey, K-pop demon hunters hating things, the claw grip, learning a new language, the boy crisis, and teenagers voting. You can read the work of all of our winners since 2017 in this column, and remember that you can participate any or every week this summer until August 15th. Just check the top of this page, where we post updates, to find the right place to submit your response. Winner. Viviana Thien, 15, from Bradenton FLA, chose an article on cuts to SNAP benefits, part of the domestic policy bill President Trump signed into law on July 4th, and wrote, "The article, What Are SNAP Benefits and How Will They Change?" brought back childhood memories I thought I'd forgotten. I remember now. The checkout lines, my mom hissing in my ear, "Swipe the card faster." I was too young to understand what shame was, but my mom did, and I felt it. We were on food stamps for most of my childhood. It wasn't because we were lazy, like politicians claim to excuse these cuts, but because rent was high, her job as a middle school teacher didn't pay enough, and we chose between groceries or gas. SNAP wasn't a handout, it was the difference between starvation or hunger. So when I read that our elected officials are trying to cut access, it was personal. One line in the article that stood out to me was, "Republicans say the program discourages people from working. Tell that to my mother, who worked full-time and still had to rely on SNAP to feed her daughter something other than ramen, or to every other parent who whipped something up from a food bank box, saying it's your favorite when it wasn't." This article reminded me how easy it is to demonize the poor when you've never stood in their shoes, or in their line at Dollar Tree. It reminded me that policy matters. People like me grew up knowing what hunger feels like, and now we sit helplessly watching powerful people debate whether we ever needed help at all. I chose this article because it wasn't just news to me, it was my life, and I'm not done standing up for people who still live it. Runners up. Allison Zhang on how empathy became a threat. Anthony Y on a pro-Trump community reckons with losing a beloved immigrant neighbor. On VJ on I hate, therefore I am. Charles R on Can You Love a Stranger? Jackson X on Daniel Kahneman's decision, a debate about choice in dying. Kathy Z on How Do You Grieve? With cupcakes, fishing, and Home Depot. Comey K on I hate, therefore I am. Lazy on I teach creative writing. This is what AI is doing to students. Federal S on how to pick up the local language before you go. Pragyan Dahal on strong earthquake hits remote Tibet in western China, killing dozens. Pranav V on how to pick up the local language before you go. Richvika Naveen K on my kids asked for the Benson Boone cookie. Here is my reply. Samira Rasul on why one of the causes of falling birth rates may be prosperity. Serene View on always late, blame your time personality.
Okay.
Evelyn on their
So in New York,
holding things. Hadley M.
SNAP
How to
wasn't
pick
a
up the local
handout.
language before you go.
Like I said, everybody that gets SNAP benefits. And let me tell you, back in the day, when they had the book, a lot of people were really ashamed. A lot of people didn't want you to know that they were getting food stamps. A lot of people had pride because food stamps represented being poor. Okay? And again, the system, no matter what it is. So look at some of these. Food stamp abusers. Hold on one moment. Hold on one moment. Women and men that have been sentenced for food stamp abuse. Now, we're going to look at who abuses the food stamps. Who? U.S. employees and 5 other church. But let the world tell it. It's only black women, and they certified them welfare queens. So let's see. 2 women sentenced. These women got 1.2. Whoa, let me see. Do they got their picture? Nope. Florida woman. I had this woman picture. That was a Florida woman sentenced to 42 months. Let's see this article. Let's see. Come on with it.
This is
Oh,
Twist.
gosh.
Not a water cooler to gather around, but one to gather for.
6 people are now charged with a huge fraud and bribery scam targeting food stamps. Listen to this. One of the arrested people in this, a USA employee, that's a government agency that oversees food stamp benefits. According to the Justice Department, the group set up a network that supplied approximately 160 unauthorized EBT terminals to stores across the New York area. Those terminals then illegally processed more than $30 million in EBT transactions. And the USDA employee who's charged actually worked in the division responsible for identifying food stamp fraud. Earlier this month, we highlighted a national scam in our special report, Faces of the Forgotten. Thousands of people in Alabama have had millions of dollars stolen from their EBT accounts. And for the last 5 months, they say they have not been reimbursed.
Hold on. See, those That's the taxpayers' money.
A huge milestone for an Evansville woman. Geraldine Oath just turned 106 years old.
Okay. You can't make this ish up. But let them tell you. It's the welfare queens. It's those people. Again, hello, everybody in the chat. Hello, Keisha. How are you doing? Hey, Albert. And let me tell you, let's see. Yeah, the migrants, they receive free food, housing, scooters, phones, everything. But y'all talk about the American people when we get something free. And again, like I say, they want people to eat healthy. Eating healthy is expensive, but they're cutting your food stamps. America, the United States of America, they the biggest con artists, they the biggest liars, they the biggest hypocrites I've ever seen. You want people to eat healthy, but you want to cut their food stamps. You had white women, well, it doesn't say. You had whites, blacks, and Hispanic. All these people were sentenced for fraud. And no, the food pantries do not give you enough money for the month. They don't. They don't. It's just a supplement. But like I say, a person like me who's getting disability, the high cost of inflation, just being able to survive nowadays, you know, I'm feeling the effects. Just buying regular household items, paying co-pays for my prescriptions, and then I only get $23 a month in food stamps. I worked. I was not a lazy black woman. I worked for 40 plus years. 40 plus years. So, you Republicans that voted for this, talking about it was a waste of taxpayer and fraud. No, you check the employees that was working there, running their own scams. Oh, just to remind you, who gets food stamp SNAP benefits? 35% white, 23% black, and 15% Hispanics. Okay. Just to destroy the myth that black women are welfare queens. All they do is lay around and have a bunch of babies and depend on the government to take care of them. So to the Republican Party, just to let you know, we bring facts over here. We bring facts over here. And so, that means if more of them are receiving stamps, that means more of them probably did the fraud. Okay? See, we're going to clear up a lot of these myths. Lord have mercy. What all of those women that was fired from the DEI programs and have not been able to find jobs? I'm pretty sure they went to go get food stamps. Oh my, oh my. Oh! And it's a shame. With anything, there will always be people that will try to beat the system, play on the system, and steal from the system. But don't blame the regular American citizen in this United Snakes of America. Don't blame them. Because you got people that's right there in the offices stealing. There's going to always be fraud in anything. But they are showing their true colors. They're showing their hand. They're showing their true hand. The rich are going to get rich, and the poor, middle class, shit, we're going to be out here hungry, starving to death. Might have to go upside somebody's head in order to eat. Stuff getting ready to get real out here. You think it ain't? You already got a homeless population. People can't find jobs, ain't no money. Now you want to starve them to death? Shame on you. And them guidelines that y'all got need to be changed. Taking food out of people's mouths, ready to starve people to death. You can't make this mess up. One big crock of shit bill is what it is. And I'm affected by it. I'm affected. They probably won't give me my little $23 a month. They might cut that off. Then I can't go to the food pantries. So now I gotta decide, do I pay the copay? Do I get this medicine? Because I'm gonna keep a roof over my head. You can't make this stuff up. You can't make this stuff up. Hold on. You can't make this stuff up. Hold on. You can't make this stuff up. They want you to be working to receive food stamps. Yeah. They want you to be working. Now, you know, with some of the laws, a lot of these places, they don't hire felons. But yet, we had a president that's a felon. But most jobs, if you are a convicted felon, you can't get hired. Okay, so let me see. We got a comment. Hey, Brian. Asa Lynn said, I think it's because a lot of people take advantage of it. So people that can work should be working to receive it. And again, Ace of Hearts, like we said, in any program, everything, there's gonna be some fraud. You know, there was fraud with the PPP loans, fraud with everything. Like I say, this one big bill with this SNAP benefits, the Republicans, starting with the president from the White House to all the local politicians, y'all are dirty and low down for cutting SNAP benefits. That's my opinion. I don't know. All I know is I only get $23 worth of food stamps. But it looked like this system that they had going now, you did have working people to offset the cost of groceries, receiving SNAP benefits. You know, they got in their mind the stereotype of people that are receiving food stamps. The stereotype the narrative has been put out that it's all welfare queens, black women with a lot of kids. And that's not true. So if they can get that stereotype out of their heads and minds, and then maybe their hearts could open up. I need more food stamps. I only get $23 a month. I worked for 40 years. And I don't think people need to work in order to be able to eat. When, like I said, if you are a felon, you can't get a job. You can't get hired. But the president sits up there in the White House. So now you want to make people work to get food stamps and they not hiring places? A lot of companies do not hire felons, okay? So all of these convicted felons will not be able to receive food stamps. But yet we have a convicted felon in the White House. Make that make sense. Well, Julio, you said you just got a raise and you disabled. What state you live in? Because we didn't get no raises in Illinois. Okay, well that's... Oh, I'm glad you got a raise, Julio. Ace of Heart, no person should never be hungry or homeless in the United States of America. And also, you know, it's mighty funny. Y'all want to tell American taxpayers that they got to work for food, but they let the migrants come over here. Hello, vehicle enjoyer. Well, Julio, I'm so glad you got a raise. Ain't nothing free no more in the United States of America. Asa House says, never read The Little Red Corvette, have you? You need to work to get something. I disagree that everyone deserves to get food for doing nothing. Have a good day. You know, if you rich and well off, and you know your family's wealthy, and you know they senators, politicians, and they got generational wealth that was stolen from other races, and they've been living good, they don't work for their food. Roadside Camper says people won't starve single mothers. What makes you think it's all single mothers that's receiving food stamps? There are actually working families that receive food stamps. There are actually two-parent households that are receiving food stamps. Hey Albert, yeah, the Trump trolls is coming in here now. Yeah. And they do know how to cook. A lot of them do. And even if they don't, that's their business. Long as their child is fed, it ain't my place to tell nobody what to do with their family. Again, the Republican Party, with cutting these SNAP benefits, can kiss my grits, is what they can do. Their one big, beautiful bill package when it comes to these SNAP benefits is a crock of shit. Everybody that is on food stamps, that gets food stamps, some people do work. A lot of them work. They're supplementing their incomes. So stop saying single mothers. You mean married women gonna have to learn how to cook? You know, everybody is not rich that live in the United States of America. A lot of people, you know, don't have the generational wealth from people that built this country, having things that were stolen from them. A lot of people are not doctors, lawyers, and all of this. You have regular people that are just as happy and content with a regular 9-to-5 job. They just want to go to work, do their jobs. A lot of fast food workers, a lot of garbage workers, a lot of people that's cleaning and maintenance and things like that.
Will now qualify for the supplemental nutrition.
Hold on.
Assistance Program, or SNAP. This is under President New Deal that provides food assistance to more than 40 million Americans has been cut. The Congressional Budget Office estimates that 2.4 million fewer people will now qualify for the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, or SNAP. This is under President Trump's tax and spending plan that passed in July. Here to discuss is CBS's senior business and technology correspondent, Jolene Kent. So, Jolene, let's start with what are some of the new rules and what's changed with the SNAP program since this legislation passed?
John, we're going to start to see these changes rolled out over the next couple of years. New work requirements went into effect on Labor Day. And the biggest change is that non-disabled adults without independence have to fulfill a work requirement until the age of 64. That's 10 years longer than the current 54-year age requirement. And we've also seen some exemptions also removed for some parents. So as we zoom out, that 2.4 million figure that you cited, those people will lose their SNAP benefits according to the CBO, and that's an estimate. And that includes hundreds of thousands of families with kids. And families across all 50 states could lose an estimated $72 to $231 a month. And if you think about that, that's a major hit when it comes to your weekly grocery budget. Multiple food banks in the metro across the U.S. are also, they're bracing for an increase in need. We're going to see a double whammy when it comes to cuts in SNAP benefits, plus food prices continuing to remain high with inflation so stubborn, John.
And what happens then to the stores that give service these customers?
Yeah, John, we expect to see both a positive and negative impact on the big box retailers. Overall, you could see spending go down because of the SNAP cuts. Last year, Americans redeemed about $61 billion in SNAP benefits, and half of that amount was estimated to have been spent at Walmart, Kroger, Costco, Target, and other major retailers. So with these cuts, you can see that revenue that these companies typically bring in take a hit. But at the same time, some of those retailers like Walmart in particular may benefit because customers with SNAP benefits who are really trying to stretch their dollars even more with these cuts and reductions, they will actually look for more deeper discounts, something that Walmart and other major retailers can afford to offer. You compare that to independent grocers in your neighborhood, those smaller businesses, they can't afford to cut prices as aggressively, John.
Well, 22 million people getting ready to be affected. What a time to cut SNAP benefits, and we're in inflation. Shame on you, you dirty, no good Republicans. Shame on you. We're in a high inflation. Groceries are sky high, and you want to cut food stamps, SNAP benefits now. They don't really care about us. President Donald Trump allegedly does not care about people that receive SNAP benefits. We're in the middle of inflation. Grocery prices are through the roof. And the president and his Republican buddies want to starve American people. Lord have mercy. I can't make this up. I can't make it up. Ain't no jobs out there. There aren't any jobs out there. If you're a felon, you cannot get a job at a lot of places. Most minimum wage jobs or the average American citizen, you know, if you not making at least $30 to $40 an hour, you cannot make it out here with the high cost of housing. So they don't care if you have a roof over your head or if you have food in your mouth. You can't make this stuff up. But this is supposed to be the land of the free and the home of the brave. Huh? You know, people that are in office now, they don't care about the middle class nor poor people. And all of this is alleged. This is just my opinion. They don't care if you have a roof over your head, and they don't care if you starve to death. See, they can't even relate to the average American because they so dirty and no good. They've been receiving high salaries, being a congressman, a senator, or whatever. They've been allegedly taking kickbacks. So no, they cannot, you know, they can't relate to the average citizen. Get rid of them dirty, low down, no good people. Get rid of them. When they don't care about you eating, I don't want to hear nothing about fraud or none of that, because fraud is in all divisions of life. Fraud is in everything people can try to beat is fraud. So stop using that as an excuse. And y'all got Robert F. Kennedy.
South Suburban Food Pantry
Hold
is
on.
seeing more clients, more need. Organizations like this one brace for what could be ahead as federal cuts are on the horizon. Thursdays are busy at Free Indeed. The market-style food pantry is open 3 days a week. Last Thursday, the creator of the market says was an example of what happens when there were fewer items available and an increased need.
It was really tragic for us last week when we literally ran out of food.
Dr. Nicole Scott created the pantry 4 years ago in Dalton with the Greater Chicago Food Depository. Today, Scott was part of a roundtable discussion at the Food Depository about the impact of cuts to SNAP benefits. That's the federal government's Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program.
I fear that, with these SNAP cuts, that we will not be able to serve in full capacity. We will definitely run out of food.
We met some Dalton residents who say they rely on food from the pantry. Roxanne Coleman Brock says she was injured as a hospice CNA years ago, and she says her SNAP benefits are already dwindling.
Even for the senior citizens, they continue to cut us. They cut our stamps, but the food keep rising. The meat's rising. The canned goods are rising.
Her daughter, Letisa Coleman Black, says she works nearly 60 hours a week as a home health care aide. And at the same time, her rent has gone up, as has so much else.
You got to pay so many things. Everything just keep going up, and you never have enough money to get like produce, stuff that we need, fruit and vegetables.
These are not people who are just sitting at home. These are people who are working, who are trying to make the ends meet, and they need, additional resources and help. What I would like to see happen is people go back to the table and they realize that these are families on that line item that they're cutting.
Free Indeed is actually trying to expand. They've seen a steady increase in clients over the last 4 years, and with more need anticipated, they are urgently trying to get donations and grants to try and grow operations and serve more people. In Dalton, Leah Hope, ABC 7 Eyewitness News. This South Suburban food pantry is seeing more clients, more need.
Again,
no one noticed that less than 24
this
hours.
Is our America. This is the current crock of shit bill. The big, beautiful crock of shit bill. They don't really care about us. They don't really care about us. And let me tell you, some of y'all that's coming in the chat, talking all of y'all mess, just like all of them women that voted for him. Then the minute he got in office, all of them DEI people he got rid of. When he said, nah, 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 hey, hey, goodbye. I'm pretty sure, those women had to go get food stamps. All of these people that was let go, all of these federal workers. Huh? They don't really care about us. Please hit the like button. Please. And y'all worrying about soda and candy. Eating healthy is expensive, but y'all cutting SNAP benefits when you need to be increasing them since you on this healthy living. Since you got Robert F. Kennedy Jr. telling you people need to be eating healthy, and we don't want kids. We're not gonna pay for candy and pop if you receive SNAP benefits, huh? But you can't give an alternative. This is April Showers. I want to thank everybody that joined me today for today's show. Again, I'm just a messenger delivering a message, giving my opinion on what I think about this president and his administration, how his cuts, his big, beautiful bill is a crock of shit, and how nobody cares about the middle class and poor people. How you gonna cut food stamps in the middle of a recession, high inflation? Make that make sense. Because they don't care. They don't care about us. This is April Showers. Everybody have a great day.